to TNJ Radio Show. We're back with another epic show tonight. We're really excited about this show. Ain't that right?
Another one. I hope I don't get sued.
Another one. Yes. My name is Laraun J, a.k.a. ShakkB. Friend, I'm your friend to the end, and this is
William A. Thomas, traveling east to west without leaving the state. What's going on?
Oh, man. I just had a wonderful weekend. I'll be sipping on this water trying to recoup from this weekend, but it was a really good weekend, man. How was your day today?
It was interesting. A lot of driving. Just came back from Ohio State. Give a couple of quick shout out OSU.
Okay. Yeah, man. So you pulled up this weekend, man. You pulled up to Georgia this weekend, man. To my crib. How was your stay?
Oh man, it was excellent. You had it decked out like a hotel. Walked in there, had the towels and all that. Like this is nice.
Got it. What is it? Southern hospitality. That's what they call it. Yeah, man. I got the mint on the pillow. Hold on, apologize. We got to slowly ease into this show because it's going to be jam packed with a lot of good fun and information, man. So we're just going to slowly ease into it. Yeah. So you said you was in Ohio today?
Yeah. Had took the boys over to do a football camp. So they were over there showcasing their abilities.
Okay.
And then I tried to run the field. They were like, "Oh man, you better get off of there."
Oh, really? So what grade they in? Your kids in?
They're about to be seniors.
Yep. The last year, the showdown begins, huh?
Yep. The last dance.
So you came down here and you went down to the FSU camp. How was that?
It was amazing. Yeah, it was awesome. There were people from all over the country. About 1,700 kids down there, 71 schools.
Ooh-wee. Man. Now, was it hot out there when you was out there?
It wasn't hot. It was hot.
Yeah, man. So I get it, man. I get it. So let's get to the dumb stuff, man. Let's get to the dumb stuff. So this is the topics that we're going to talk about today. Now, if you haven't already, if you're on YouTube, definitely subscribe to our channel. Hit the like button and also hit the notification button so you know when our videos is coming out. Now, if you want to chime in, because we want people to call in today, man. If you don't, we'll just ramble on and do what we do. But go on the description in the YouTube and you can get on there and ask your question, talk your stuff, because it's going to be a good one. Ain't that right, Will?
Absolutely. And also we'll have in the comments. It'll pop up, every once in a while. But don't be scared. I know there's a lot of people scared. Take off the bonnet.
Or you don't even got to put your camera on. Don't even worry about it. You could just leave your camera on. But, we definitely want some females to speak today, if you can, on a few topics that we have, different perspective. So one of the topics we're going to talk about is, did Faith Evans cheat on Biggie with Tupac? Yeah, so we're gonna get into some dumb stuff today, right? So that's one thing we're gonna talk about. Before I get into the rest of the stuff, man, I kind of followed this the situation back in the day, and Faith Evans go on TV and act like she was just a great wife and different things like that. But I was listening to Danny Boy. I don't know if you're familiar with Danny Boy. He was on singing a hook on "I Ain't Mad at Ya."
Oh yeah.
And he was telling the real. He was on this chatty patty stuff, and he was talking about the fact that he was messing with Tupac, And the crazy thing is, and I want to talk about it a little bit later, though, she slept with the homie. You know who she married to, right?
Who?
Stevie J.
Wow.
That's the homie. That's Biggie's homie. So
right.
Yeah, definitely want to talk about that. Also, what we're going to talk about, which this was booming on Facebook today on my Facebook page, is should the government increase the minimum wage? We definitely going to hit that up. You know,
that's going to be a huge one.
Absolutely.
We might have to save the ammo for that one.
Yeah. And I was trying to get some information off. Just bear with me real quick. But also, we're going to talk about this. And I don't know if anybody heard this in the news. If you heard this, definitely leave a comment and I'm get on here. But there was a Virginia Tech athlete, 18 years old, went on a date with transgender. He didn't know. And apparently the transgender was giving him fellatio and they was getting into it. And then he realized it was a dude and he killed him. So we're going to talk about that. Do transgenders have to tell somebody before they date? All right. Also, I was checking the news today and I see Black Twitter is coming after Destiny's Child song Cater to You. Now, I don't know about you back in the day, but for me, I'm an R&B dude, and back in our day, we had songs that made you want to love somebody, right?
Right.
Now you got songs called Throat Baby. I'll say it again, Throat Baby. By Little Baby. If I'm saying it wrong, definitely hit the comments. And so we're gonna talk about that because we have these people out here basically saying they want to cancel these lyrics once they found out the lyrics. So we're going to talk about that as well. Right. Yeah. Also, Cat Williams accused Cedric the Entertainer of stealing his jokes.
I don't know.
Now, do we that one? Right. And the joke in particular that he's talking about is the one, I don't know how many people hit the like button if you saw what's that? Kings of Comedy. And it was one of Cedric's last jokes when he talked about parking in the spaceship and we're going to the moon. Well, that was the joke they was talking about. If you know anything about that joke, definitely hit that like button. All right. Now, this is something I believe that happened today right here with the Asian man released on $10,000 bond after allegedly threatening and shooting a young boy, 6-year-old black boy, after he tried to retrieve his bike in his yard. Now, what I heard allegedly, and we're going to hit this up. We're going to talk about this heavy. If you want to talk about this, chime in, definitely hit the comments. However, the young boy was playing in the yard. You know how in the summertime, everybody playing, and he put his bike down. He's 6 years old, mind you. So the Asian man, 29-year-old Asian man, allegedly ran after him with a sledgehammer. Right? Goes in the house, gets his gun, shoots from his house, and shot the kid in the arm. And this guy gets out on $10,000 bond. Now, the craziest thing is no one's talking about it. CNN, Fox News, no one's talking about this. And the problem that I have, especially with these elite athletes, soon as a black man gets shot by a white cop, they're out here. They're out in these streets. These kids get shot every day. There's people doing TikTok dances in their house, getting shot. No one's telling. So we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this today, definitely. All right. Now, I want to give a shout out to our man Fawn. He definitely gave his topic out. Should WNBA players get equal pay with the NBA players? We're going to talk about that today. Yes, indeed. And also, I see. Bam. Is Burger King using the LGBTQ for marketing? So we're going to hit that all up. And I definitely want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors. Check out Sharonda Simone on YouTube. She talks about beauty products, review, motherhood, and children lifestyles. Yes, children lifestyles.
Absolutely. Man. And I definitely learned a lot, speaking of it. I remember there was a video that she had actually did, explaining about moisturizing, one of the things that people neglect, your feet. So I would definitely go and check out that video because there was something that I've been doing wrong this whole time and I never even knew.
Facts. Yeah, man. So, what you want to talk about first?
Well, let's get into this stuff about Burger King. Have you been following it?
Nah.
All right, so Burger King, they come out with a chicken sandwich. All right, you know the chicken sandwich wars have been going on for a year or two. Popeyes done fizzled out. Nobody ain't going to Popeyes all like that. Chick-fil-A still running strong. So Burger King, they come out with a new chicken sandwich, and then all of a sudden they say, you know what, we're going to donate to some LGBTQ organizations, some organizations that support that. Now, either I'm wondering, did Burger King do it before? Is Burger King doing it for the first time, just more so for the marketing? I feel like they may be using them somewhere. I mean, what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, this is where society's going, man. The LGBTQ movement is leading. So if you're not on that train, you pretty much get canceled. They're a deep game, and I'm not surprised. Not surprised at all. Yeah. So let me pull it up real quick.
What was that?
I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull it up. Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah. So when I'm sitting there, thinking about it though, that so let's say that I have a friend, and I may like that friend, and you may not even know that friend. So I say, you know what? I take care of my friend, so I'm a good guy. That's kind of like what Burger King is doing. Even though I know that they have a lot of momentum going right now, but I don't think Burger King's actually interested in it. I think that Burger King is pretty much doing for the LGBTQ community what certain groups have been doing, pandering towards the Black and Asian community.
Yeah, I believe Target did the same thing during the election time, didn't they? They started opening their bathrooms for transgenders. I tried to boycott them for a few days, but I couldn't, man. They got some good prices, but I tried. But I mean, nothing's gonna change unless people boycott, but they ain't about that life. So,
right. Well, Swanee said it's like it's the going along to get along.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar, but I know a lot of companies across the country is going with that train. You got the NBA and different things like that. But like I said, I think the people are speaking up now, and I think we need to start protesting on these things, man. Like they're pushing this stuff on the television. I don't watch TV too much anymore because I'm scared to leave the room. I got kids, and they'll play a commercial pushing that agenda.
Yeah.
Just over it, but we need to start speaking up. That's the main thing about that situation. It's not going to stop. Right now, it's going to continue. Other companies is going to join, and that's what it is. But I love those Whoppers, man. But yeah.
Well, they're not 99 cents anymore. So it's a little bit easier to let them go sometimes.
Well, real quick, man, I definitely got to give a shout out to my man, Marcus Berkeley. I'm rocking his shirt right here. You can see that. Definitely support my man, Marcus Berkeley. I know Del Rico Fletcher and him got a podcast. It's real dope about playing football and after effects of football, man. He's definitely giving love to the community. Support his channel, man. So I'm definitely big on supporting these other companies.
Definitely a dope podcast. What does that shirt say?
Oh man, can you see? Make results, not excuses. Make results, not excuses.
Wow, you're going to scare a lot of people, but it's a needed message.
Yeah, for anybody out there, man, who's watching this, man, let me know. I just started keto. Oh man, I'm getting the keto flu, man, and my stomach hurting, man. Let me know. Should I quit? Should I do something else? Like this is it's getting bad, man.
Man, your face thinner. You good, man?
Just bear with me, man. I'm sipping on my water. My mom told me stop sipping on water on camera, but I'm gonna continue. So, hey, Mom.
That water ain't brown.
No, that was the first 2 episodes. I realized I can't do that. I'm weak at that game. I can't do it. So, and I'm gonna have to cut that down. But I'll be back again.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about this right here. Should the government increase the minimum wage? Now, you want to jump in that?
Yeah, absolutely. And anyone who's watching, if you want to jump in on this topic, because this is a big one right here. This affects all of us, as we are talking about money. And if you don't care about money, I'm going to put the Cash App up there and you can send it all to me. But whatever the case, so right now we have a lot of people who are out of jobs and different things like that. And I hear this thing about the government increasing the minimum wage. Now, a couple years ago, it was the fight for 15?
Yeah.
What it was? Yeah. So $15 an hour minimum wage. And, some people have said 20. Some people have, it can get outrageous. But here's my thoughts on it. And I think that a lot of people don't understand how economics works. That's one thing that I've learned inside and outside of, college classes, is that there ain't no such thing as free lunch. So along the way with it, if you do raise the minimum wage, there's going to be some effects. So one of them, would be, let me ask you this, Ron, when you had started working, how much was the minimum wage?
I think it was like $6, like $6.10 or something.
$6.10. Okay, I think like it was $5.15 when I had started. I was blessed.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're totally right. It was $5.15. I was just balling out there. I told the manager, I said, shout out to Food Land in Forest Hills. Yeah, they paid me they paid me a grip. I was getting $6.30. What? Now I'm telling you, but go ahead, finish.
Well, let me bow my head in shame. I thought I was huge. I walked into McDonald's making I think it was like $5.25. When you start those jobs, you can't tell no one what you're making. You gotta
oh no.
So I made the mistake. I was like, oh, they started me off at $5.25. Man, I almost got jumped. I almost got through under that grill.
Let me tell you let me tell you something, man. And real quick, just hold up, just bear with us a minute, get our groove on. We're gonna get to the college, but let me tell you something, man. I remember when I first got my raise, right? And I ain't know nothing about anything. I ain't know you shouldn't tell anybody. So we can cash our check in at the office right there, right? And all I remember, I slid the check under there, and this girl's name, I ain't gonna say her name, but she pulled it out and looked at me like, and I was like, I did the Michael Jordan. I was like, she cashed that. And then I just proceeded to go next door because I think there was a Pizza Hut next door. No, it was a Little Caesars. So I go there, get my food. No, Taco Bell in Forest Hills. That's where I went. I come back, and the owner looked like he saw a ghost. He brought me in the room like, look, don't ever tell nobody about how much money you're going to make or you make here. And they were lined up trying to get more money because they were in there longer than I have, But proceed with your story.
Right. So this ends up bringing up the point, right? So let's say that the people who are making $9 an hour, there's a couple things that can end up happening. If you raise the minimum wage, let's say to $20 an hour, then the people who might have been there for a while, who might be making 13 or 14 or 15 off of experience, they might get the $20, but they're not going to be happy. Because they're going to be thinking to themselves, hold on, I've been here all these years, and these people are making the same as me. And I think that's what probably pretty much happened to you. It actually happened to me at another job too. Hold
on. Wait a minute. There is people at these jobs that You know, they need more money. Like the company making all this money. Why can't you, raise the minimum wage?
Well, you could, but what's going to end up happening is
No. Why are you against it? Don't give me this this biblical talk. Why are you against it?
Because I don't want to pay $5 for Little Debbie's. We're gonna put it right there short. I want my oatmeal cream pies, which is always they're already up to $1. You know, I don't want to pay $5 for the oatmeal cream pies. I don't want to pay, $7 for that bar chicken.
What you talking about? Everybody got their stimulus check. Yeah, stimulus check. Yeah, everybody got the money. So why are you talking about inflation right now? We talking about pay me my. Hold on, no. Pay me my monies. Why can't people get what's the minimum wage right now?
I believe the federal is $9.25. No, $7.25.
So why won't $7.25? So when did they raise this?
It might be $9.25. I'm not sure.
Let's look this up. When did they raise that from 5? You got your computer with you or your phone?
Yeah.
I will wait.
Federal.
How did they raise?
All right, so it's $7.25 an hour.
When did they put this in place?
This was. Let's see. Let's see when this started.
My man, Bobby Cito. Yes, increase the minimum wage. Bobby don't like what you're saying, bro.
Oh, man. 2009.
Okay, so 2009. All right. You're saying don't raise the minimum wage from 2009. How long is it? I think I got married that year. What was that 11, 12 years ago?
Well, I don't think we should not.
How much was gas prices 2009? Look that up. Probably was high though. I don't know. I know we had that crash.
It was higher than it is now. Well, 2009, it was probably $3 or more. It's about the same. Let's see. Gas, 2009. So national average, $2.35. Okay.
So it was $2.35 back then?
Right. Yep.
So the cost of living went up. Why can't the people demand a livable wage? Talk to me.
Well, I think they should. They should demand a livable wage. But here's how it should be done. We should actually get rid of the minimum wage overall. See, a lot of people, what they're thinking about is, it's the minimum wage is going to make it better for the poor people, right? It's going to eliminate poverty. Isn't that the goal?
Show me the money.
That's definitely the thing. But what people don't understand is, let's wave a magic wand. I'm President William A. Thomas.
Hold that thought. Our caller, we're gonna get you in like 2 minutes. Go ahead, finish.
Well, you know what?
No. Finish. You finish. You about to kick the chair. Hold on, you about to kick the chair from under you. Go.
Oh, okay. Well, President Thomas says I'm gonna decide to go. So we're gonna make the minimum wage $100. You good with that?
Hey man, if they got it, man, it ain't tricking if you got it. Ain't that what they wrote in the song?
So what's going to end up happening at $100? It's going to end up changing all of the different wages for all of the different industries. It's going to end up changing the prices of food. And what's going to happen is the same people who are in poverty are going to still be the same people who are in poverty because $100 is going to be the new $5.
So okay, well, it looks like people on the West Coast, like Seattle and California, they're raising the minimum wage and they're doing okay. So is your theory incorrect?
Actually, I appreciate that example. If we go look over in the West Coast, you have to have about 10 people living in a $250,000 one-room condominium.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
So
What,
you know,
they don't. We don't discriminate against Mexicans. Continue.
oh, who said they Mexican? You know, all
I'm
sorts
joking.
of people do it. You know,
I'm joking.
We got a lot of
I'm
actors over there who
I'm joking.
They think they're going to make it.
Yeah, I'm just joshing, but I totally agree with your assessment, and here's why. You know, now you alluded to all the things that you were saying about the prices of goods and different things like that. I think if you raise the minimum wage, it's going to ruin the companies that's not as big as the Walmarts and different things like that. It's going to basically create a whole monopoly when it comes to that, because there are companies that can afford that. But from the last 5-10 years, I've been talking to a lot of business owners, and they did have to downsize for increase in medical care and different things like that. You know, I had a don't shoot me down, but I had a nanny. I had a nanny at one point. You know, before COVID. And it was interesting because, well, I'll say the scenario. You know, I feel like if you go in there in a mindset of I don't want to get paid, you actually learn more than if you're trying to go up the corporate ladder. You know what I'm saying? So, for instance, if you go in there and with a mindset of I'm trying to help this business owner make money, and I don't want nothing off top, but I want to get a percentage after the fact. If I show that I make you some money, you get to learn how they run the business, because you're going to be with the owner. The owner going to take you on it to, by the wings and teach you everything. Now, if you try to go through the corporate way, or like entry level and move your way up, there's a lot of politics to that, and I will say this: if there is someone that older, 40s, 30, 40, 50s, and they're working entry level, then you have to look at yourself, in my opinion. And people may not like that, but you should be looking to stay there. And another thing I will say is back in the 40s and 50s, before they start putting all these regulations in, women and African Americans were working more because yes, they was getting paid very little, but when they get in there, they was learning how to run the business.
Right.
And that's huge, So I think, and that's my thoughts on it, but we're going to definitely get our first caller calling in. Let's pull them up. Swanee, how's it going? Can you hear me okay? Oh, let me unmute.
Okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
The man, the legend.
What's going on, fellas?
Oh man, I'm digging the hat, man. I like your hat game. I like.
Hey,
I
this
thought
is my
that was
my new game.
You got one pants leg pulled up?
Earlier I did.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get that hat, man, for real. I'm trying to switch it up. I like that. That's that grown man. That's that grown man hat right there.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. What topic you want to touch on?
Oh man, I want to start right where y'all left off at, man.
Talk about the money.
Yeah, the money is man. Wow. I mean, this topic needs more conversation because it's deep. We talk about minimum wage, and Will, I heard you alluded to talk about if we raise the minimum wage, the price of everything is going to increase. Now let's go back to what Laraun J was talking about with different companies. Now the Walmarts and the big corporations that are $1 million, $1 billion corporations, there is no reason why the very minimum that their employees down to the janitor makes at least minimum wage. And even that is poverty wages. We're talking about the $15 an hour. That's poverty wages, $17,000, $20,000 a year. Could nobody live on that? A married man or even a single mom or single dad making that, taking care of a couple kids, that is poverty wages. There was no reason you should work for $1 billion company and you ain't got health care, first of all. And then you got, you're making under minimum wage. How can you pay for health care? So it's designed to keep us in a certain class. and the poor working class is below that, unfortunately, because of the minimum wage is completely low. Now, I don't believe that if you raise the minimum wage, that it's going to cause a whole lot of things to increase. Now, people will use that as a fear tactic to start increasing prices. Burger King, McDonald's, Wendy's, they're making millions and millions of dollars each and every month and year. That's not going to affect them at all. Now, the problem is with capitalism, they always want to increase their profit margin. Okay, each and every year they want to increase their profit margin. So what do? They start making their employees pay more in benefits like healthcare, those things and more benefits, so they can increase their profit margin. And while their wages are stagnant, since the 1980s, our wages really haven't increased. There are people that retired out of the steel mill back in the 70s and 80s who make $17, $18 an hour back then. They are making that right now in 2021 as a starting wage. Now we're behind at least 30, 40 years. What happened? It's the corporations got greedy and they want to take all the money and don't want to pay their employees. That's the real problem. They don't want to pay.
All right. So my question is, does the owner have to take care of their employees?
I believe
you said it's mandated to do that.
I don't think they're mandated, just based on some of the laws in each state, and each state is definitely different. Now, if the employees are a union, like my shop, we're a union shop, and we organize as a union, and we negotiate wages, we negotiate healthcare, we negotiate benefits, we negotiate working conditions, we negotiate safety, we negotiate pretty much anything we could negotiate. Now, people without a union have it even rougher because they just have to accept whatever the boss gives them. You know what I mean? Like Walmart, for an example, they just start paying their employees, I think, $15 an hour as a teller. Now, a quick story. When I worked at Walmart in the year 2000, I worked night shift as a part-time job. I made $5.80 an hour, okay, as a part-time employee. And I had my first child at that time. And what the crazy part is, for me and my child to have health benefits, it would cost me $300 a pay. Now my paycheck was only $275.
All right, no disrespect, Swanee, no disrespect to you, but let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Did you go to school? Did you go to college?
Yeah, okay. I went to a trade school. Yep.
All right. Did you have an option to start your own business then?
At that time? After college or what?
Around that time, when did you get the entrepreneur bug?
I got the entrepreneur bug, when we were teenagers, really. I just didn't know how to put it together at the time. You know what I mean? Networking and lack of resources, just wasn't there at the time. It really didn't really increase until, my 20s and 30s when I started networking and, moving about and seeing people move, around the country and just start networking became real big at that time in my 20s and 30s. It wasn't that much in my teenage years after high school and after tech school. And I graduated in 2000. I was still 20 years old at that time. Working a manufacturing job. And again, that was 2000, I believe. And I was making $16 an hour at that time because I had a degree in electronics engineering. So.
Right. So would you agree that when you first, because, back in the day before we have our kids and stuff like that, a lot of this money is disposable for us to hang out with it, but that job, when you're getting paid those low wages, you had an opportunity to get into the field, learn a couple skills. Don't you agree with that?
I agree.
Right. So in my opinion, I feel like the minimum wage should be low, and it's really for kids because if you raise up the minimum wage, there's going to be a cause and effect. You're going to hurt the children who's trying to get the experience. Because usually, if you can pay a person that work at McDonald's who never had any experience, they're willing to pay those people. But once you start raising it to take care of families, they're going to not hire those kids. Do you agree or disagree to that?
I agree, but the problem with that is in the job market, there's not well, first of all, there's not a lot of trades, there's not a lot of entrepreneurship or classes or
whose fault, but whose fault is that though?
Well, I wouldn't blame anybody. The problem is it's just not available, and we got to create that. It's time to start creating those courses and agendas for people to be trained into entrepreneurship and trade schools, learn a trade to be electrician, carpenter, whatever it may be. But entrepreneurship classes didn't exist, when we was coming up in high school or even in college.
We had Forbes, didn't we? I didn't go there. I didn't choose to go. I wish I did. But then we had Forbes.
Yeah, I went to Forbes.
I wish I did that. It seemed like people who went to Forbes was able to survive, the market because they know how to do these skills. Like you just said, you know how to do like you're an electrician now and all that stuff. I don't know how to do that stuff. The only thing I know how to do is cook.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
It seems like that for schools like that, and for anyone who doesn't know, Forbes is a vocational tech school, in the outside of Pittsburgh area. But whatever the case, those type of programs, they kind of treated it for the most part like the bad kids go there or the kids who aren't listening, even though it's open for anyone. But it was kind of looked at, that Pittsburgh, we have Forbes, Beatty, South Votech, all of those are basically the same thing. And, if you were going for, automotive, I think those things were a great thing. I think that the school should have put them more at the forefront, and made it more of a positive thing. But that seemed to be the time when that stuff was usually introduced, when someone wasn't, doing good academically, or if they were cutting, that's when they say, all right, well, maybe they need to go to, this school. I mean, is that the experience you saw, Swanee?
Yeah, I totally agree, because not everybody is, cut out for school. The normal get up, go to school and study about stuff that you're really not interested in. So Forbes and these Votech schools, I think is a pathway, for folks who have an interest in something hands-on. People want to talk about what's hands-on. And I think Forbes, they offer that, and people took advantage of it. And I encourage people today, go to some of these Forbes and Votech schools, because you may see something that you didn't see in regular school, because in a normal public school system, they have an agenda and they have a course. And it's this, and you got to follow that, and it's boring to a lot of people. It was boring to me, for example. But it definitely helped.
Yeah, one of my friends, he went to Job Corps and he ended up going to what's it called, Rosedale, technical for automotive. And I think this is the point that Laraun's trying to get a point. Like, he was and is doing, like, he was doing fine young, he's doing fine now. He's
listen, he was the first person in the hood with a Sega Genesis. He was way before his time, man.
God has blessed me with that Sega Genesis. I was so thankful. God is good, man.
All the time.
Yeah, but
real quick, hold that thought. Right when you get done with that thought, we're gonna now, Swanee, can you hang on, man? We love when you're here, man. Absolutely. You give us some good stuff. I want to once you tell your thought, I want to put Jimmy X on there. He been waiting for a long time. All right, go ahead, Will.
Well, we'll get back to what's that say, Swanee?
Us versus anybody. It's Kareem Dutrail's clothing apparel.
Okay,
it's a cousin of Marcus Berkeley. Us versus anybody.
Nice.
Okay,
all right, we're gonna put his banner up, man. I'm about to text him.
Yeah. So, what was your first job, real quick?
My first job was actually at the Rankin Christian Center. It was called the Job Readiness Program at that time, and Bruce Greenhow, he was the lead guy at the time. Okay. And I made, my starting wage was $3 an hour, but I was what, 12, 13 maybe, you know what I mean? It was a job readiness program. We learned how to do resumes. We learned a whole lot of stuff, man. The resources are not in the hood anymore. We need to get back to that and bring that back. I made $3 an hour. I was happy with that. My little 78.
You ain't have bills.
I ain't have bills. Listen, I went to Foot Locker, bought me a pair of socks, man. I was happy, man.
Well, and that was so I think that's the equivalent of like UIA, right? Or Operation Better Block, different things. They have that around, at least they did. I don't know if all these programs exist anymore. So cool. I'm gonna get back on it. Yep. I'm gonna put you on hold for a second. Get Jimmy X on here. Hold on a second. Oops.
Jimmy.
Hello.
How's it going?
Great, man. How y'all doing tonight?
Oh, we're doing fantastic. Have you been watching the show? You see what
I've been watching the show,
man.
I've been watching the show, man. I've been watching the show.
Ah, you got something to say?
Yeah.
Talk to us.
Well, first of all, raising the minimum wage ain't gonna do nothing. It's gonna make everything more expensive. All right.
Okay.
Like, people say like Walmart don't pay enough. Walmart pays what people that do what people at Walmart pay. Just because they got the biggest store on the planet don't mean they got to pay more money. If you don't want to make that little money at Walmart, don't work at Walmart. That's what they told me verbatim one time. I asked them for a raise. It was like, you don't have to work here. Work somewhere else that pay more money. Please do. Let me know when you're ready to go. It's America, right? And in America, you got a choice. If you want to know how to start a business, you go to the library. They got books and books and books on it. You even got YouTube. You might not can make it to the library. Go to YouTube and look up anything you want to know.
Okay, so I want to. We're about on TNJ Radio, the objective perspective. Ain't that right, Will?
Absolutely.
Right. So what I want to say to you is, what about those people who went to school, got their degree? Because there's a thing called the boomerang effect, where these highly educated people leave, go to school, they can't find a job in their field,
right?
And they right back home, and so now they have to go find a job with something that they probably don't want to do, and they're working flipping burgers, working at Starbucks. What do you say to that?
I went through that. I went through that personally. That happened.
Well, not to mention, them government loans that you get that you got to continue to pay no matter what.
Yeah, you running through my resume. That happened to me. That's why I was at Walmart with a college degree. So yeah, that happened.
So why can't they pay more if you got highly educated people at the job and they're not getting enough?
I asked them that. I said, look, I got my degree in accounting. You know what they said? Well, if you go work in the back in the money closet counting money, right now you're making $7.15. We'll pay you $7.25 if you go back there in that money closet and count that money. But other than that, that ain't gonna do you no good over in here. That's what they told me. They say they say you can make more money, just not here. And so let me tell you what happened to me though. My next door neighbor used to sell houses. And the guy next to him, my brother's best friend's dad, sold cars. And I asked my next door neighbor, his name is Mr. Scott. He died of cancer. He was a real estate agent, owned his own Remax. I said, Mr. Scott, how much does a salesman make? And he said the words that changed my whole life. He said, however much they want to make. That was it.
All right, real quick, I'm going to get Swanee on here to respond to you.
Sure.
1 second. Sure. There we go. What you think about what Jimmy X is saying? Let me get him off of mute. Hold on 1 second. There, your phone's muted.
All right.
Camera.
All right, we're good. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I mean, I understand his perspective, on the matter, because that was a great point that you raised. People with college degrees, got to settle for a job, that's not in the field. And the reason being is because the jobs they go to college for is not available when they graduate. So they have to settle in another job or another career. That happens every day in this country. Okay. And it's happening to more people, more graduates than any other people in the country, because they're the ones that's going to college in these universities and they graduate with nowhere to go. So they have to go to a Walmart or a McDonald's at some time, or a Kohl's or a Target, or some at manufacturing. There's people with college degrees, in assembly lines right now. You know what I mean? Because just no jobs, and there's no resources. There's nobody creating those jobs anymore because they're taken already, pretty much. So as far as the minimum wage part of it is the fact that, I mean, I wrote in a comment before that I was told before that because of my experience and my education that I was overqualified for a job. Now, what about the people who wanted to work and want to take care of the family because they just have no other capability to work anywhere because there's no opportunities? They went to entrepreneur route. They're trying to start the business, get their credit together, but they need that income first because they got to take care of their family or even take care of themselves. You know what I mean? So they got to start somewhere.
All right, so
yeah, go
real
ahead.
quick, Swanee. So what would you raise the minimum wage to?
Well, I guess that all depends because every business is different. I would structure it differently, and this is just my opinion.
I'm just saying this is a slight threat. Don't mess up my little Debbie's. Go ahead.
The minimum wage definitely should go up. It will help more people at the bottom, okay, than anything. And you got to understand that the people at the top, you think their wages are going to increase as well? Yeah. And that's the problem because their wages has been increasing every single time when their wages have been the same the whole time for the last 30 years. So the minimum wage, I believe, should increase. If the magic number is $15 an hour, so be it. I think it will help. It won't do enough because that's still poverty wages for somebody who got a college degree and is forced to work in, I guess, a less skilled job per se, because the job they went to school for is just not available. So you're saying you don't think it should be a government mandate to raise it to a certain standard? Do you think you saying it should be case to case basis, or what do you? I think honestly that based on the poverty we talk so much about the cost of healthcare. Why is taxpayers' money going to do this, to do that? Listen, America has money to do certain things. We see Biden just gave he just spent millions of dollars on other countries. You know what I mean? Because they're suffering, because they're poor. What about the poor right here in America?
Right.
Okay. That's the problem. We got all this money going to all these other countries, and we got people starving and sick right now, right here in America. So it should be mandated by the government to increase the minimum wage, and then the private companies should follow suit because they're billions and billionaires. They're $1 billion companies, and if they claim to be an American company, they should be held accountable to those standards and pay their employees what they deserve.
Well, let me ask you this real quick, Swanee, because you had mentioned something key about the other countries. What is and it doesn't have to be exact. What's the poorest country you could think of in the world?
Poorest country?
Mm-hmm.
Haiti. I would probably say Haiti as well.
Okay, Haiti.
Yep.
So here's my proposal to be able to get rid of poverty in Haiti. Let's just raise the minimum wage to $20 an hour. Do you guys think that would eliminate poverty there?
In America?
No, in Haiti.
Raise the minimum wage in Haiti to $20 an hour?
Mm-hmm.
Now they in Haiti, they don't have the resources. They don't have the development that other countries have. They still send their money over to a European country.
Because we could put that for any country. We could, any poor country and say, hey, you guys can eliminate poverty by just raising the minimum wage. But there's always a little bit more in that. And that's why I'm kind of against the minimum wage. See, what a lot of people don't know is the minimum wage was actually, created because, when Laraun started talking about this, whenever slavery had ended, A lot of Black people and women, they were working at different amounts. They were working at lower amounts, but they had a competitive, and they were getting all of the jobs, and they were learning all the skills. And a lot of them ended up, turning into businesses. That's actually how a lot of the contributions toward Black Wall Street, the multiple Black Wall Streets, not just over in Greenwood, but also in Harlem, different parts of Chicago, and things like that. But they ended up learning these skills at a lower amount, and they were able to flip that investment to be able to make a whole lot more. And what's happening right now is that the minimum wage, or back then, the minimum wage was created to actually put a stop to that. It ended up making it to where they said, all right, we're going to raise it here. Well, if we paying that much, then we're not going to be hiring that word with the N, and so on. And that's what would end up happening with, the kids. That's kind of what was happening whenever I was younger and starting my first job. It was easier to find a job than a couple. We're talking pre-COVID, because I know right now anybody can walk in and get a job, almost anywhere. But even with the COVID situation, it kind of proves the point that if you get rid of a minimum wage, it allows for competition. The only problem I have with that is that you're competing with the government, and the government unfortunately has unlimited, they can print money, basically. Yeah. So competing with the government is, it's a pretty difficult thing to do. But a lot of these companies right now, because they're competing with the government, they're saying, all right, well, we're going to offer $500, $1,000 bonuses and, things like that. And, there's some people are saying, hey, I want to take the government pay. So just look at the government as one business, that is paying the average of about, $15 an hour, $20 an hour without working. And, a lot of people are making the choice to say, hey, I would prefer to, get that than to get the 15 from this business. So the business is going to in turn have to, offer incentives and things like that. You were about to say something. I cut you off.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, we got to understand the minimum wage is created by Congress in 1938. The Fair Standards Labor Act. And you got to understand that, just think about this. If there's no standard, if there's no minimum wage, what do you think will happen to some of these private companies in America? Right? You will have some people making $2 an hour. You have working next to somebody making $90 an hour. That is not fair, and it's not right. It's unethical in every way you can think about it, and that's the problem. That's why it has to be a standard, because I don't trust a corporation to do right by me, knowing my own self-wealth. You know what I mean? And because of that, we have to have a standard. Unfortunately, in this country, we have to have a standard, because the big corporations. I'm talking about the big corporations, not small businesses. That's another story. But the big corporations making millions and billions of dollars and pay the least in taxes, while we are the tax burden of the American people, of the American government, period. I don't trust them to do right by me and pay me a fair wage. I can see, if there wasn't no minimum wage or a standard, that companies will pick and choose who they want to pay. Okay, there's 4 of us on the screen right now. We could be all doing the same job and making different wages. You think that's fair?
Well, that's what happens.
That's how it is right now. That's how it is right now.
But if you go and if I decide to go and fix cars, there's people that are in front of the AutoZone, whenever I walk out, saying, hey, you want to get your brakes fixed. They're charging, $35 a side, $70 to do your front brakes. Whereas if I go to my mechanic shop, it's going to be, an arm and a leg. If I go to the dealer, I got to give a little bit of blood and one of my children or something.
For sure.
Well, we got another caller, but real quick before we jump to the other caller, Jimmy, you got to say anything about what Swanee and Will saying?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say if you want my money, you gotta go get the money. Ain't nobody gonna give you nothing. It's America. Okay, nobody gonna pay you out of the goodness and kindness of their heart. They not it ain't fair, it ain't made to be fair. I mean, Floyd Mayweather just danced around in some shorts for multi-million dollars because that's what he know how to do. If you want it, you're gonna have to get up and get it. Ain't nobody gonna give you nothing. They got a library full of books, an internet full of knowledge on how to get the money. They got a video on the internet that says how to get the effing money. You type that in, it's somebody big, bad, and rich telling you how you can become big, bad, and rich. So if you're gonna stay on the job and get mistreated, that's a choice. We don't live in an era anymore where there's no limitation. The limitation is your willingness to get up and do what you got to do. Now, if you see how to do it and don't want to go through the pain of doing it, that is fine. That's fine. But ain't nobody holding nobody back. You can type that in the internet on YouTube now. Somebody gonna talk to you for an hour and a half about how to make yourself rich. What do you need a job for? It's there.
Okay. All right. Jimmy, if you want to hold, put your hold. If not, I understand. But I'm gonna go to another caller and put your hold. All right.
I'm good.
All right. Let's get that next one in. There, yeah. How's it going?
How we doing, guys? Loving the
Going
conversation.
good.
Hey, Derek.
So I wanted to. What did you say?
I said, what up?
Hey, what's going on, Will? How's everything?
Loving life. You sounding a little southern now.
Yeah, that's how been down here for a minute. Only thing I haven't said yet was finna.
Hey, that's big down here.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I wanted to
think about the topic
with the minimum wage conversation. Everybody, I believe, had a great point, and I just wanted to say that we can't save everybody, and the poor we're gonna have with us always. So therefore, people really need to not depend on the government and try to get a skill that will put them in the place where they want to be. Like you could give somebody $15 an hour and they still have, still spending money that they don't really have. You could give them $20 an hour and they still will find, bills. They'll still find ways to spend that type of money if they don't have the correct mindset, to save or to invest or, go get a business. You see what happened with the stimulus money. And they're still, July, he's supposed to be putting some tax credit for people. So people are now starting to depend on this money.
Yeah, child tax credit, I believe.
Yes.
It's interesting that you say this, Darius, because what I noticed, I think your computer might be too loud. I don't know.
Who, mine?
Yeah, I hear echo.
Oh.
Yeah. All right,
I don't know why I'm on my phone. Hold on,
okay.
Let me turn it down. Is that better?
Let me see. Yep. Well, a little bit. I still hear echo, but give me 1 second. I'm gonna try to mute you out for a second. Yeah, but what I noticed that right now we have more jobs than ever before, and they're giving out all this free money, and no one's looking for a job right now. So that's interesting take on. Let me unmute you. See if we got that echo. Go ahead, Derek.
Can you still hear echo?
Yeah.
Oh, I have no idea why that's happening.
Well, just talk. It's just me. Maybe just talk.
Okay. So yeah, that's interesting that you said that because it is an employee market. And so a lot of people are offering this money like for service-based businesses. Even Amazon, you could go to customer service right now and make $19 an hour. And nobody wants these jobs. So that is telling me that people are depending on this government money, unemployment, and everything else. That is, I know a person who actually not bought a house, but rented a house with her unemployment money. So you know that money is going to run out. So what's next? So people really need it.
She's throwing chatty patty. Pay attention, y'all. Go ahead.
So you really need a corrected mindset to even and there's a lot of people that want to run a business, but they don't understand how to run a business, and their businesses is like hustles. And so they'll get a whole bunch of money and spend it on a whole bunch of product and not get an LLC. So it's like a mindset thing here.
Yes.
And real quick, just to piggyback off of what Daria had said, I'm gonna just hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna just mute you for a second, Daria. Daria had said that a lot of people are getting the stimulus checks and they're doing whatever with it. And I'm gonna just throw a quick positive out there. There's a young woman, a black woman, Ellie Diop. It's Ellie, last name Diop. I don't know if I said the last name right. She took her $1,200 stimulus check and she flipped it into a $1.3 million coaching business. Let that sink in the middle of COVID. I mean, what you guys think about that? You're unmuted, Daria.
I was thought she was going to give us the number. I'm like, you going to tell us more information? You doing the infomercial?
Yeah. What's the email address?
I spelled it out. You guys can do the searching. That's a free one right there.
Yeah, I know.
She probably has.
She ain't Cleo, is she? The Jamaican that was on BET. Tell our future.
Was she even really Jamaican?
Nah, not at all. Yeah. So, Daria, you still there?
Yeah. Can you still hear that echo?
No, I don't. You did something that worked.
Okay. I probably had to fix something on my phone.
All right. So I want to ask you this real quickly. I want to ask you this, not to change the quick subject real fast. Now, have you heard about this story with Black Twitter coming for the Destiny's Child Cater to You lyrics?
Yes, sir.
Talk about that. What you think about that?
So I think that was a younger generation and they don't understand. Like Beyonce, at that time, Jay-Z was teaching her everything. And so she was that's where she was. That's where her mindset was. They were, basically she wanted to take care of her man, but, when I looked on the Twitter feed, there was a lot of people saying stuff like, I would never do that for my man. That's why you don't have one.
So one of the lyrics, one of the lyrics that catered to you, which I love that song back in the day. I don't know if you guys watched the BET event when they were on there and they were dancing, but I digress. But anyway, one of the lyrics that they said was, "My life would be purposeless without you." And a lot of people, Black Twitter went crazy on that. And then one of the lyrics they said, "Put your do-rag on, and I'll brush your hair." And so, what do you think about that? Do you think women should cater to their man, or do you think they should not do that?
See, I personally, I have no problem with that. That is that stuff right there. That means nothing. I mean, like if you want to brush his hair and put his do-rag on, what's wrong with that? You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to, and then there was a couple lyrics in there, she talking about pedicures and stuff. Now I think she took it too far then, but but other than that, that's what she wants to do with her man. This is like a generational gap because a lot of these younger women don't understand, relationship like that. They don't
Keep
understand because they haven't. And they don't understand love language. There's a love language. Like if that your man likes something, you're gonna keep doing it. And a lot of these women probably, their man don't trust them with different things. And so they don't understand that that's just a part of relationship. And
So
there's
needless
some
to
stuff
say,
in
you
a
think there's a lot of
relationship you're
single
not gonna
people?
want to do. Huh?
Needless to say, you think it's a lot of single people saying this, or
I think it's a lot of single people, and I also think it's a lot of people that want to be heard.
Mm. What you think about that, Swanee?
Yeah, that's. I mean, you on a roll, D. You hit it right on the money. Because it's true, and the problem is, relationship, love language. Nobody's talking about them kind of things. It's non-existent. This younger generation, they just want to be single and be individuals, and think that they just, and they're fine, and that's part of the issue because from their perspective they don't need another partner. I hear it all the time, even on Twitter. I'm good all by myself.
which is a
That's
lie, but keep it going. They be lying. They be
I
crying
mean,
when they go home.
yeah.
They cry when they go home after the club, sitting on the by the microwave waiting for their Wendy's.
Yeah, but then we got to be honest about those kind of conversations. And I'm glad we're able to have that because it's true. I can do good all by myself. No, nobody can do anything by themselves. We all need somebody. Period. We can't
Now,
we can't do nothing as a people without each other. Let alone just doing it ourselves. You know what I mean? Nah.
Now, do you think it's the culture and the lyrics and these songs these days that's influencing the this new wave of not caring about other people? Because like I was saying when we were little, and we were at the cookouts, they were playing Frankie Beverly and Maze, and you see your aunts and uncles getting down on the dance floor, grinding. Then in our age, we were sitting there thinking we were ready because we was listening to R. Kelly, you know what I mean, and different things like that, and then I saw a shift because I used to listen to Beyonce, because they had some love songs then, and then it changed to independent, do this and do that, and I noticed when the artists make a change, their money go down. Like, for instance, Keisha Cole used to sing about, Let It Go and all this stuff. And then when she started singing about love songs when she was in a relationship, people stopped supporting that. What do you guys think about that?
Mary J, same thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But let me do it however, though. Because think about Taylor Swift. She talks about all her breakups. And she's a multi-$100 million woman now. She talks about her breakups, where all her ex-boyfriends, and she's making a killing because of it. It's like you're promoting.
It's true.
You're promoting division, and it sells.
It's true.
I don't know. You talk about love, you ain't gonna get no play because don't nobody want to hear that.
Let me tell y'all what I think, and this is what really makes me mad.
Mine started working.
Here, let me just hold on. Let me do this real quick. A lot of people who are upset with this are the bonnet wearing, pajamas at Walmart, pajamas in the airport, don't brush their teeth, accept me people. Those are the people who are complaining about this. So in 2021, when I hear people always say the line of stop policing Black women's bodies, stop policing what they do. Well, let's stop policing the people who like this. They want to have it their own way. It's always about that YOLO, but it's only about me low. That's what it's coming down to. So it's hypocritical, and I'm not going for it. It's nonsense.
You sound like an older man, man. You sound like an old man. What do your kids say about that?
Yep, that's true though.
Yeah, but let's so Darren, what do you say about that? And then we can let you go to the next caller.
I'm sorry, I thought I was muted. I was sitting there talking to my son. I think it.
Put your son on. What did your son say about it?
Which one? He been talking the whole time too. He was talking about the minimum wage, and he was also, but I don't agree with the bonnet thing. I think that is supposed, that's not cute. Bonnet and pajamas, I never agreed with that. Like going to Walmart with your pajamas on, and then you out in the elements, and then you come home and sit on your couch, I just, it's just me. I just don't agree with that whole bonnet. And I never let my son, even when they had pajama days at school, pajamas, and I never let him go in his pajamas.
All right. Well, we appreciate
It's just not.
we
It's
appreciate
inappropriate
you
to me.
hitting us
I
up.
agree with you, D.
Now, is there anything else you want? Any topic you want to talk about before you go, or anything you want to promote?
I think Jaden wanted to say something. What did you want to say?
About what?
The minimum wage. What do you feel about the minimum wage as a teenager?
What I feel about it?
Yeah.
Come closer to the phone. Come closer to the phone.
I feel like it's something that would be beneficial for us because like as far as like us working, it wouldn't be as difficult because you still have to worry about school and stuff like that. Like you wouldn't like say like you had bills to pay at the time as a teenager, like you had to pay your phone bill. If you're on minimum wage and stuff like that, it would be more difficult because at the same time, you're not going to get as many hours as an adult. You're not going to have as many priorities as an adult. So that's even more difficult. And on top of that, in certain states, like you can only have certain hours. So I think that would be beneficial because it will help the community per se. And it will also help, just getting everything that you need to get done as a teenager.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yep. Good point.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate you guys for hitting us up. We'll hit the next
All
caller,
right.
but
Have a good
All right,
night,
you have a good night.
everybody.
All right, you too.
All right.
all right. So, real quick, I definitely want to talk about something that happened. I believe it happened today with this. We alluded to it earlier with the Asian man. He was released on $10,000 bond after allegedly threatening and shooting a young 6-year-old black boy in Michigan. So we're definitely going to talk about that. You have any thoughts on that, Will, before we get to
Well, it brings a whole lot of element of scariness to the whole "get off my lawn" thing. Before it was just a old man. You were just scared of him, just because, till you got older and you figure I could beat him. But who can beat a gun?
right? Right.
So that's
Wow.
Yeah. Situation's messed up, man, because especially the summertime. And I just remember growing up. And if anybody who's on here is from my community, Braddock, which was I didn't know it was poor, and my things, all things considered, I was able to walk to the store at 8, 9 years old by myself. We had and on top of the black business owners, we had Burt's over there. We had I forgot the guy's name, but he had a cleaners up there on the Braddock Avenue. We had so many Eli's, where people to hang out at. We had so much stuff going on, and at the time, like it was a family. Like if I go down 3rd Street, if I go up Camp, everybody knew me. They knew Dante and my sister, and it was just a family. Like I used to see, the Dutrells and the Gibsons and all that, and Swiss. Like you were taken care of. If I go to Swissville, I'll be cool. So meeting my friends, I used to walk down the street, and that's how I met big up to my friend Little. He was hooping on his yard. So I walked over there. I didn't even talk to him. We just started shooting. I met my one boy Jermaine. He was down there with some, he had biker shorts on. I'm on you, Jermaine. you had biker shorts on. 88. Anyway, that's how I met these people. And then, I used to go on Washington Street, and the ball would go to somebody's yard. I remember Marcus Berkeley used to have this crate. Well, there was a crate hoop right where I don't know if you remember Justin Pulowski was there, and I used to see Marcus hooping there, and I see Del Rico living down the street. So imagine if I'm down here and I'm playing and I'm shooting the ball across to somebody's yard, and I try to walk in there and they run out with a sledgehammer or shoot me. But this is the world we live in now. And just imagine like this guy who was Asian coming out with a 6-year-old boy who's riding his bike, comes out with a sledgehammer and then go in there and try to shoot the guy and he's out.
Unbelievable, man. That is unbelievable. When I heard the story today. It may have happened either yesterday or the day before. It could have happened today. I'm not 100% sure on that. But when I seen it, I'm like, well. Then I seen the video. When I seen the video and heard that little boy crying, I got shot. He shot me. He shot me. That hurt. You know what I mean? Because I have a 6-year-old right now. You know what I mean? And when I seen that little boy crying because he got shot, and the other kids around him, then they was in shock too. Like, oh my gosh, he is shot. You know what I mean? And oh man, it was just hard. It made me feel angry instantly. But to the point you said, back in the day, I was walking the street 5-6 years old, from the bottom all the way up to the avenue, to Burt's and everywhere else. But we were a community. When something went down, everybody seemed to know what was going on. You know what I mean? My auntie knew, your auntie or uncle or mom, dad, grandparents. Everybody knew, and everybody, surveyed their neighborhood, and it's not like that anymore. And now we're living amongst, a whole bunch of other people, Asians, all type of ethnicities in our neighborhoods. So we don't know what's up and who to trust. You know what I mean? And for that man to run out with a sledgehammer and then go in the house and shoot, that's crazy. But the judge, though, let's talk about the judge, because I heard the hearing as well. The judge, raised his bond to $10,000, and all you gotta do is pay 10%. So that's $1,000. This guy is let go off of the attempted murder. This guy attempted. Listen, that's attempted murder. Okay, period. And this guy is free to go. Now, supposedly he's staying with his father. He gave his email address, he gave his phone number, and everything, and during the hearing, because the hearing is public. But $1,000, you can go. The judge told him you cannot go back to your home residence. You got to go somewhere else. But that just goes to show you our system is messed up too. If it was one of us, they
treated like a
If it was one of us,
like a speed ticket.
Yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead.
If it was one of us that did that, just imagine me or any of us, shoot a gun through the window, hit a 6-year-old Asian little boy. With the Asian hate thing right now, it would have been all over CNN, MSNBC, World News, and everywhere else. But the fact that the mainstream media is not talking about this goes to show you that the evil behind it, man. And it's just unfortunate that this is happening, man. And that little boy, I'm glad he's fine. He got a wound on his arm. He got a bandage on his arm, and he's doing fine right now. But it's scary though, man, because you don't know what to expect anymore.
Right, and he has a bandage on his arm, but he has and it sounds like Laraun was actually about to allude to this, but he has a scar for life now. Whether it's dealing with older people, he might grow up to think all Asians are like that. Who knows? This is a 6-year-old little boy, and it really hurts my heart to think about this. And is how the mainstream media is doing it, because if it was a black person who did the shooting, it would have been portrayed a certain way. And if it was a white person, it would have been portrayed a different way, So it looks like they're kind of pushing these agendas. And sometimes you can push an agenda by not saying anything. And
yeah, absolutely. That's facts right there. That's a good point, man.
Yep.
And I think there's a lot of money is going into these Asians, man. So America, I believe, is trying to keep peace with them for financial reasons. Because there's no reason why this shouldn't be a national story. All these NFL and these woke people, the NBA players. This is what I'm talking about. Like, this is the stuff that they should be out here fighting for, because our community's getting shot. If you look at the murder rate in America, yes. Just 13% of African Americans, but we're doing 40% of the crimes. So technically, this I think last year was 16,000 killings, and the black community did like 8,000 of that. And no one's telling. So it just it pisses me off, you know, to be honest. But as far as the this situation, like this dude should be locked up still. You know, I feel like he's still a threat.
Yeah.
Who knows? This is some type of African American hate. Because if it was a white kid that went on his yard, he wouldn't have done that.
Yep. Yeah. But again, you don't hear politicians talking about it. You know, Joe Biden, he gave his little speech, and like I said again, you know, when it's about this Asian hate, and they keep showing the video. It's unfortunate that those things happen, but 90% of the crimes against Asians are white folks, and I'm just keeping it real. That's what the stats say. There's a small percentage of blacks that any crime against Asian, according to their statistics anyway. Who really knows what they really are? But listen, you know, we gave $50 million to the Asian community in Pacific Islanders just out of the blue. We've been here over 400 plus years, you know, dealing with oppression and affliction, and we still getting shot in the street, and our young kids are getting shot, and there's no protections for us.
Right. You're right about that. Real quick, we have you on. You still good? You got to go or anything? All right. Nope, I wanted to ask you about this this situation right here. I know you ain't been dating in 20 years, but this Virginia Tech football player was allegedly dating this transgender, and so they were he was getting some fellatio. He was getting what's that called? That song called with Little Baby. I can't remember. I don't know these songs, but anyway, he was getting some fellatio. Then he was trying to get some, and found out this guy's a man, and beat him to the white meat, killed him.
Oh, he died.
I believe he died. Yeah, he allegedly killed, and he met him on Tinder, and he was posed as a woman. Now we have a lot of that down in Atlanta out here. A lot of people, you got to check the Adam's apple. Thank God I have a beautiful wife. I don't have to worry about that. Now, should transgender women reveal their gender before dating?
Oh, transgender women or men? Just transgender period.
Or period, yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, it's only. I mean, with the whole LGBTQ plus agenda going on right now. And identifying, you know, the pronouns and the he and the she's and the hers and hims. I think they should identify, you know, themselves, because, you know, that can lead to the event that you just mentioned. And unfortunately, you know, there was a fatality in that instance. But yeah, man, that's wrong, man. It's just wrong. And there's no way. And there's no way that, you know, somebody should just, you know, for an example, you know, Teddy Pendergrass, you know, back in the day, he picked up a transgender.
Oh, that nigga was gay. But go ahead, proceed.
But listen, Teddy said he ain't know. That was his story. But anyhow,
Eddie Murphy too. Eddie Murphy.
Listen, so yeah, you know, I think they should, you know, should identify themselves. Especially when dealing with, you know, straight heterosexual men, period. You know what I mean? Because that can lead to danger, man. That's a dangerous thing, man. And, you know, it was unfortunate to hear that, you know, that happened. But again, it goes back to our morals. You going out, you know, doing this simping, you got to be careful. So it's partly, you're responsible partly for that, because you're going out here doing whatever you want to do anyway. And you wind up, you know, you sleeping with another man. So
now, do you think he should be charged for the murder? He was charged with second-degree murder, and he's on house arrest right now. You think he should be charged for that?
I would just say this: everybody's accountable for their actions. For you know whatever it is, whatever those actions are, whether second degree or involuntary manslaughter or whatever they, you know, right now second-degree murder right now. So I think, you know, in that situation, that's a tough one, because, you know, you got emotions, you know, playing involved in that. And then again, you know, as some people say, it's a time to kill, I guess, which is crazy to think about, because you don't know. I mean, but again, you out there doing, you know, God know what. and you end up in a situation. So I believe he got to be held accountable for his part in the whole thing.
Mm.
What you think about Will? What you think about it?
What I notice is that people typically get over aggressive when you mess with three areas: their money, their children, and their sex life. So what I'm saying is that in any situation, you are better off to reveal whatever you're hiding. So if you're transgender, you should reveal, what you're born as up front. If you are in a relationship and you're messing with, you need to reveal that you are in a relationship. That there are a lot of men and women that are actually with it. If you are gay, a gay man, and you're messing with a woman, you need to let them know ahead of time that like, hey, I like men too, and so on. Those are the things that if you end up messing with those things, like there are women that will probably kill you if they find out that you've been sleeping with another man. They'll kill you if you've been sleeping with another woman. So I'm not condoning the murder aspect, but what I'm saying is that those are the things that people tend to get a lot more aggressive about.
Right.
Agreed.
And right now,
agreed.
there's really no protections for mental illness right now, because who knows? Right now, I don't think he was. It could have been that he was. Insane at that moment, at that very moment. That he could have been. In a different mindset. Who knows? And we all know that. In the court that some of those things that they can argue. Was he in the right state of mind? And if he wasn't, then he may get off. But if it goes the other way as well.
Nice, man. Nice. Is there anything, Swanee, you want to touch on before we end the podcast?
You had a couple of things. I wrote some things down. We talked about the VTech thing. But the WNBA thing versus the NBA, real quick.
Yeah, let's pull that up.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good question. Who sent that? Fawn?
Yeah, Fawn. Yep.
Okay, brother Fawn Nanji, my brother. Yeah, I think the problem is, I think the WNBA, from a sports perspective, I don't think it's entertaining enough, to pull them big crowds. Now the NBA pulls huge crowds. So some of these general managers and these owners have enough money in the bank to pay some of these players a lot more money. And the WNBA, they just don't have enough sponsors, I believe. There's not enough tension being talked about the WNBA. I just think it's two different levels. Because I enjoy watching it. I mean, for me, I enjoy watching. I enjoy watching any sport. Should they receive a lot of money? It depends on how much money that team is making. Again, it goes back to that minimum wage topic again. If that organization is raking in millions off of sales and tickets and jerseys and apparel and everything else, and they're paying these people minimum wage, whatever the base salary may be, $100,000 a year, that's terrible. They should be paid a lot more than that. I would say from that perspective, they should be paid a lot more than that if that organization is making a lot of money.
What you think about that, Will?
Well, I think that they're actually getting overpaid right now. The much respect to the sport. I know that those ladies go out there, they give it their best, but the truth is that there aren't as many people watching. And the reason I say that they're overpaid is because the WNBA has been operating at a deficit, actually, to where they're not actually making enough money to keep themselves afloat. Some of the money that they have is coming from the NBA, to be able to support it. So for them to get what they are getting, I think that's great for the ladies. That's great for them. But from a pure economic perspective, they're already being overpaid.
So who's to blame for them making these low wages?
Well, first of all, should there be a salary cap?
Good question.
Because just think about that. If there's a salary cap, we won't have to worry about that issue. For example, Major League Baseball, there's no salary cap. So the Yankees and the Boston Red Sox, they get all the money. They have to, I think it's called share pay or something like that. They have to give a certain amount of money from their profits and earnings to other teams who are less fortunate, like the Pirates, for an example. So they pay other teams to try to, get better prospects for their team because everybody watches the Yankees. New York is a big town, for the Yankees and some of the other teams that are just, swimming in money. But yeah, there's no salary cap, man. So you think about the NBA, Brown Westbrook, making $200-something million contract, and LeBron making $100 million contract, and there's no salary cap. It's not, it's not enough money, to be shared around. But again, pay for performance. We think about that aspect of the game too. If you are doing so well at your game or job or whatever you do, they're going to pay you based on that too. But again, honestly, I think it goes back to if it's deficit spending, then that's a problem to begin with. But if the organization is making money, then there's no reason that they shouldn't pay their employees per se.
Well, this is what I'll say about it. If you look at, first off, they can't compete with the NBA because that's why I believe they started playing in the summer to see if they could get some interest back in early mid 90s. They had a good talent then. I used to watch it back then. They had Cynthia Cooper, she was dope. Then you had Lisa Leslie. But the problem that they're having is they can't sell out the arenas. So I blame the women. The women should be going to these games. When you're doing date night, you hit the games up. I used to live in Michigan for 2 years, and this is Detroit team. It sucks. So I was able to get good seats. I saw every NBA game. I saw the Miami Heatles. I saw all those games, and those games were sold out. They were sold out. Now the average NBA attendance is 17,000, and they play 42 games at home or 41 games. The total 82 games.
Right.
Plus, if they make the playoffs, so most of these games are already sold out. Now when you look at the WNBA, they're playing in the same arenas, and their average attendance is 7,000. Think about that.
Yeah.
And they don't play nearly as enough games as I think that I forgot someone have if you could fact check me, one of you guys, but they're not really watching these games. So I blame there's a lot of women, there's a lot of girls playing the sport. Now y'all can tell me a little bit because like I remember when Pittsburgh tried to get a basketball team. Am I not correct? Nobody was showing up.
Yeah.
Nobody was showing up. So there is enough revenue for people to do outings, and they're just not going to the game. So I would say, they don't deserve the money unless you go to a bigger market. Maybe LA, they might have a bigger attendance there, but it's not sold out.
Yeah.
You got to sell out. Like if you notice, like entertainers in the music industry, if it's not sold out, they'll cancel the show because they know they'll lose a lot of money.
Yeah. And real quick, just to respond to that, I think a big part of it is marketing. Okay, the marketing department is terrible. I would have a WNBA game like right before NBA game. You know what I mean? One after another.
Oh, you trying to do a JV game, huh?
Listen, they got to.
That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. I played JV before, and nobody show up till y'all played. I'm cool. Until Swanee's team played, everybody showing up with that ain't gonna work. But continue.
That ain't gonna work. Well, listen. Well, the other, I think if it's not that, then some kind of other marketing tool they need to use.
They need to lower. They need to. Sorry to cut you off. They need to lower the hoop. They need to lower the hoops down to 8 feet, and they need to start dunking.
Well, they got a small basketball already, so.
Yeah, they need to start dunking or something because nobody want to see that. I mean, they make more money overseas, so I think they're just wasting their time here. To be honest, in my opinion, they make millions over there because those guys support that, like those other countries. They support the best. Like I said, if only thing's going to change if they have more women get into it, and a lot of women go to the NBA games because like if you go to the front, if you ever go to an NBA game, the front rows is a lot of thirsty girls, and they fill up those front rows, and then you have the executives suites, like the people who selling, have companies and they have the executive suites, and then you have the everyday friends, but they have to do a better job of selling season tickets,
Right.
In my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man. So, but it's never going to happen. They need to just because they had great players, man. They had like what's the Candace Parker was dope.
Sure.
Taraji was dope.
Mm-hmm.
They got some dope players now, but like you said, the marketing is not there. I don't even know when they play.
Me either. I don't even know when they play anymore. I used to watch them a lot, man, and I don't even know anymore. There's more women's college basketball that I see than WNBA. I don't even know when the WNBA play anymore. So I've been watching a lot of college sports.
I'll be watching that hockey. That's what I'll be watching. Yeah. Any other subject you want to touch on?
No, just real quick. The whole Burger King and the Target and the trending. Again, just keep it brief with it. The go along to get along gang. You know what I mean? All they're doing is doing what everybody else is doing to make a good name for themselves because that is what they're calling the new norm from their perspective. And there's a lot of money going towards that. Okay, that movement. Again, it's a big distraction for what's really going on in America.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Well, you got anything you want to end on?
I would say everyone get into economics. Thomas Sowell, that's a good place to start if you want a little bit of entertainment. He's a Milton Friedman. He made it pretty interesting, and a lot of people probably like him. He actually believed in the UBI, the universal basic income, but he was also for capitalism. So just look at these different points of views. And you don't have to agree with it, but at least, educate, we have to educate ourselves on these different things.
Yeah.
With that, man, definitely hit the like, subscribe button, hit the notification button, and we'll be back next week with some hot topics. And we always appreciate Swanee coming on, man. You definitely want a big supporter. We definitely love you, man, for the support.
Absolutely.
And I'll see y'all later.
Yep. Appreciate y'all, man.
All right.